Okay, so the first one is kind of an obvious one, but you'd be surprised as to how many people actually don't know this. Now that CC icons are a thing, people are going to actually be able to see that they are protected. But when you use your E-buff in Awakening, as long as you stay in Awakening, you have permanent super armor for the duration of the buff. You can literally run around, not get CC'd, and grab people. Flash Step and Silent Step, when used off the cooldown, is actually an iframe. Utilizing this iframe and not just mindlessly spamming dashes is going to really separate you from the average strikers. As you can see here, the iframe icon turns into a super armor icon after the first dash. I want you to pay attention to when the iframe icon actually disappears. You're going to notice that it disappears before the end of the dash for both Flash Step and Silent Step. These are vulnerable holes that you can punish. As you can see here, I go into a Silent Step and straight into a Mass Destruction. You can see me holding the keys down, and there's a clear hole in frame in which I can get CC'd. The best way to cover these holes is to actually cancel into another iframe, backstep being the safest priority. Spiral Cannon is a skill that is used in a lot of combos as a secondary CC. This being followed by CROSSWIND, which floats the target, will really help you ensure a full combo in case the knockdown from Spiral gets resisted. On the left you see a float, and on the right you see a knockdown. As you can see, the knockdown duration is significantly longer. When using Crouching Wolf with 3 Martial Spirit Shards, it turns into Prey Hunt, which actually applies a Stiffen on a target. There are 4 main skills that have a lingering super armor. First, you got Mass Destruction, and this is the longest lingering super armor we have. Keep in mind though, when you linger in Mass Destruction, you do not regenerate your stamina that you've used. Next is Rage Hammer, Crouching Wolf, and Rising Blast combo, the flow from Somersault. Keep in mind, Somersault itself is not protected. Now, if you cycle the first 3 skills that I've mentioned, you can stay in permanent super armor. This is what we call the super armor rotation. Obviously, you can add in more super armor skills to continue the rotation. The core of the super armor rotation is to cycle these 3 skills. Twisted Collision actually has sneaky long range. Don't be afraid to use it at mid-range. Somersault and its flow also actually has sneaky good range. Not as good as Twisted, but it's still there. You gotta be careful with this one though, because Somersault itself is not protected, but the flow is, and also can float on its own, as you see here. Probably my favorite skill now that you could add super armor to it, but Spiral Cannon can actually ignore frontal guard. You do have to spiral next to the target though. You can't actually spiral into the target, as it won't ignore forward guard then. You also can't be too far from the target if you want to ignore the frontal guard. One last note on Spiral Cannon, it can also hit targets that are behind you. So if there's a target that's behind you that's unprotected, it will also knock them down. The other ignore frontal guard that we do have is using Nimbus Strike, but you have to land the Nimbus Strike behind the target. Stalking Wolf, when followed by Knee Hammer, gives us some ridiculous range. As you can see here, I'm literally 3 miles away from him, and when I do actually catch him with the Stalking Wolf, I teleport instantly in front of his face. Both of these skills are, however, unprotected. You can cancel out of it though to stay a little bit more protected. Here I cancel it using a C-swap straight into a grab. Wolf Hunger is the mainstream teleport skill that we have that everyone knows about. This skill can also be canceled a few different ways. First, you have the cancel by hitting S after any kick, which will dash you backwards. Next, you have the S cancel, but before a kick, keeping you a little bit more protected. And finally, the last S cancel, which involves a 180 mouse turn after a kick to get behind the target. One more thing that you could do to stay a little bit more protected is to actually cancel the cancel by hitting back C or 0 in my case. Locking our Awakening Grab is an absolute must because that allows us to use our pre-Awakening Grab while we're in our Awakening stance by hitting E. You could always use the Awakening Grab even though it's locked by having it on the hotbar and hitting it manually. The only reason why anyone would ever have this unlocked is for style points to do the drag grab. Quality of life tip here, if you actually use triple flying kick off of a ledge like this, you won't actually get that fall animation. Okay, so I've deliberately saved the best for last because I really don't know how long this is going to be in the game. It's actually been in the game for quite a while. Not too many people actually know about it. I figured it would get patched out, but it hasn't, so here we go. If you cancel out of Wolf's Hunger before the skill is actually finished, meaning at any point after you teleport towards the target, Rampaging Predator will immediately teleport you directly to the target at an absurd range. It's not an infinite range, but it's close to it. If you face the opposite direction before teleporting with the Rampaging Predator, then it will teleport you to the backside of the target, as you see here. Now here's the kicker. In order for this to actually work, not only do you have to get a Wolf's Hunger cancel off after teleporting towards the target, but you also have to stay and remain in your pre-awakening stance. The moment you go into awakening, you lose that teleport. Now here's where it gets broken. If you add the core skill to it, it gives Rampaging Predator a stun. This means that you have a protected instant teleport stun to the backside of a target from almost an unlimited range, assuming you can successfully cancel a Wolf's Hunger and stay in your pre-awakening stance. If you guys thought that was helpful and you'd like to see more content, let me know what you'd like to see in the comments section below. As always, like and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm, and follow me live on Twitch when I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at twitch.tv/KanonXO. To round out this video, I do want to give a shout out to the Striker Discord. You can find everything that you've seen in this video in there and more. If you want to check out that Discord, links to it will be in the description below.